MPs, lords and ladies to find out about
our democracy today.
But first, we're going to ask some students from Prenton High School what they already know about democracy.
What is democracy?
It's the right to vote politically for the party in charge of your country.
I think that democracy means that you should be able to voice your opinions and your views.
What is an MP and who is your local one?
My local Member of Parliament is Frank Field and he represents the Labour Party.
In 1988, I was just a little boy. But that's when everybody in Burma got into the streets. They had enough of military rulers. They wanted change.
I was really moved by Burma VJ. Do you think other countries should step in and help where there is a lack of democracy?
I think it comes down to degrees. You have to have regard to what is happening in the country, to maybe the number of people who are being killed, as to whether or not you need to intervene for humanitarian reasons.
Yes, I think there's what we call conditionality, which means that if you're going to work with countries or in poor countries where you're going to give aid, then what we really have to say to them is, if we're going to do this and if we're going to work together, then that partnership has to be built on you having a respect for human rights. There are many countries where that doesn't happen.
The film Whale Rider is set in New Zealand and shows that women should have the same rights as men. What do you think the British government is doing to encourage this?
Not a lot is the simple answer. I think the atmosphere of politics today is not conducive to encouraging women to get themselves involved in politics. If you look at what we've just had today, this is a Wednesday PMQs, you've seen two men having a pop at one another, roared on by a crowd on either side. It's an adversarial model of politics. It doesn't really lend itself to encouraging women to get involved in politics, because they would feel, I think, genuinely less comfortable with that.
How do you think social media like Facebook or Twitter can help countries without democracy?
They have helped countries. If you think of what's been happening in what we call the Arab Spring countries, and Syria, as you know, is still going through very difficult times. But it was the social media that made a huge difference there. So if people are demonstrating in the squares in the main cities or something, they can say, there's going to be a demonstration, we're here. They tweet or they put messages on Facebook, and that alerts people to the fact that there's going to be a demonstration and what it's going to be about.
From Prenton High School for Girls, we don't have the right to vote, but what can we do as young people to ensure our voices are heard?
You don't have to wait till you can vote to take part in politics. I mean, you're taking an interest in politics now, aren't you? And you know, I think it's important that you have a look at all the political parties and decide which one fits best with your views. But what I would say is get involved.
I think first of all take an interest in the issues of government, the big issues of the day. If you have a view, make sure that people know about it. The internet, Twitter, Facebook provide vehicles which weren't there 10 years ago. As ever, if you want to have real influence, try and get some people who agree with you to support you, because people will listen more to 300 than they will to 1.
You should look at what elections are about, not just what elections are about, but what decisions that legislators, people like me, take. You know, we're the reasons why you have to go to school, you know, until the age of it's going to be 18 now, and if you don't, you could get into trouble. You know, that's because of the legislation that's passed through this place. There's many other things that affect your lives as young children that are taken in here as well, and I always think that, you know, get involved in it. Have a look at what Parliament does, what laws we pass, and how do they affect young people.
Well, it's been brilliant learning about our democracy today.
Yes, it has. And don't forget, you're never too young to be involved in democracy.